Всем привет! Продолжаем прохождение Masquerada, Songs and Shadows. В прошлой части мы поняли, что нам надо идти к масочникам. И сейчас мы этим займемся. Давайте для начала тут обследуем окрестности. Как дерево пропадает. Интересно, здесь осень. Трава еще зеленая. Цветы еще цветут, кстати. Ну, возможно, я художник, я так вижу. Зал песен. Это хранилище наследия нации, а также пристанище надежных душ, ищущих уединения. Ну-ка. Так, это перевод истории. Первая контента. Тоже перевод истории. Тут дальше не пройти. Певчее дерево. Дерево, возможно, еще из эпохи дементикатов. Его раскопали больше полувека назад. Да, и она действительно гигантская. Ну что же. И поет хор. Вы слышите?
Thank you, sisters. Orlana, will you please take the chime and place it where it belongs?
Mirabas?
Cicero?
It's been a while.
Oh, Cicero, it is you. Come here.
Что у нее с глазами?
Why have you returned?
Business, I'm afraid. I cannot speak too much of it.
I understand. But here? Have you come to listen to some songs?
No. A friend of mine should be here. A mariner.
I believe I heard some of my songstresses speaking of one. He should be somewhere atop the singing tree.
I'll find him. Thank you, Mirabas.
Так, колокольчики, которые могут воспроизвести любую песню, которую они слышали. Ничего себе. Так, и... Так, кто еще? Такс, Мирабас 1. Да, она слепая предводительница песенниц. Ладно, идемте наверх. Песенница — это хранители души. Читаем. Календарь делится на кантаты, которые длятся неопределенное количество лет. Это аналог эпох. Песни — это местная религия, фактически.
I'm sorry.
A strange choice of greeting.
That mask runner. If I hadn't done what I did, maybe she wouldn't have died.
She wouldn't have been the first mask runner you've killed.
It's not about me. If she was still alive, maybe she could tell us where my brother is. Or where to find the artifacts.
You heard.
And learning how to create masquerades again is huge, I know. But somehow, compared to finding my brother, I say that I'm scared for him. But in the end, it is I that undermines our progress to find him. Razatov is that much further away now.
5 years ago, I was put on an investigation that led me to discover that my brother had been siphoning masquerades out of the Hall of Bearings. I didn't join him in the endeavor, obviously, but I let him go. When the registry found out, and word spread, the consensus at the time was that I had to be punished. Death by hanging was the easiest option, to remind the others what awaited them should they ever place their hearts above their duty. It was your brother that sacrificed much of his clout to negotiate the terms of my punishment. He managed to reduce it from a death sentence to one of exile. Your brother saved my life, Calden.
I didn't know that.
We'll get him back, Calden. On your Mariner's moon. I'll promise that.
Thank you.
Так, мы еще должны человеку, которого мы ищем, да. Кажется, про это там говорилось в одном из диалогов с местным главным. Да, тут ничего нового. А тут есть. Четыре Мизура. В третьем Мизуре Маскерину начали применять для борьбы.
Tides.
Who is that?
Calden!
Please, Orlana.
Every marshal that I've spoken to says that you knew him well.
Calden, who is this?
Inspectore, my name is Orlana Corvale, songstress of the Hall of Songs and sister of Jax's Corvale.
Orlana, do not involve the Inspectore, please.
I had once tried asking the registry for assistance, but they turned me aside. Perhaps you will be kinder.
Orlana, you must move on.
How? My brother is dead, and I know not why or how, and the only lead I have refuses to answer my questions.
There is nothing to answer.
And so I approach an inspectore who certainly could do a better job than I.
Охо.
Cicero, we have no time for this.
Let the inspectore.
Jaxus is gone, and no amount of investigating is going to bring him back to the shores of life. He would want you to move on.
But please.
Orlana,
Calvin.
a shadow of my past. We should go.
Ох. Неприятно. Тут все еще такая псевдоосень. Поехали.
What is this about?
No greetings, even?
Stop wasting my time.
All right. I want you to be a part of this investigation.
What?
You have expertise that my team is lacking.
This is not a good idea.
I can pay you 1,000 crescents.
You don't have that kind of money.
I will once I finish my job, with your help. Amadea, what is stopping you? Masquerades, the blood of the city. This is our chance to find out where they came from. For centuries, the histories of the land have been enigmatic. For the first time, that curtain is being lifted.
Fine.
Really?
Do you want me to back out now?
No. This is good. Thank you.
Now, where are we going?
Toth, found us a place yet?
Yes, we did.
We think you'd be most pleased with it, sir.
Well, let's hope you're right.
Она так спокойно согласилась. Ну ладно, поехали.
So, what fruits have your search yielded?
It's a place called the Estiguary, sir.
Is it crowded?
Not at all, sir. In fact, the place is practically barren, save the people who own it.
The owner said the war's done a toll, but he's more than willing to house us for the night. For as long as we want, in fact.
Generous. How much is he asking?
He said it depends on who we bring back.
Так,
Of
так.
course he did. I wouldn't put my trust in anyone who didn't hold a bargain.
I'm glad you think so, sir. We're just arriving.
Tides. That's...
Beautiful.
All right, Ricardo. I hereby promise never to rat you out.
Sir, we'll go in and tell the owner that you're here. We'll be right back.
I don't understand. This is too beautiful to be so... empty.
The owner was telling us that the people of the city forgot about it ever since the war started. In the first year of the war, the road that led here was frequented by masked runners.
Makes sense that people stopped coming.
What a pity.
I'm not shedding any tears. The more space we have to ourselves, the better, I say.
He's ready for you, sir.
Так. Он считает, что наша спутница не очень психически здорова. Возможно, так и есть. Стигорий расположен на берегу теней. Это место принадлежит моему дорогому другу Левентусу Меримбусу. До возвращения в Омбру я никогда здесь не бывал. Я помню его предыдущий трактир «Прыгающий лев». Но должен сказать, что красота этого здания отражает характер владельца. Смотря на то, что он стоит в центре темного города, он сохраняет теплый приветливый вид. Тоже можно сказать и о самом Авентусе. Левентусе. Хотя он живет в городе тени и обмана, он не запускает в свое сердце ни того, ни другого. Что же, идемте. Что здесь есть еще? Кузня. Полноценная. Непонятно, почему, правда, угли здесь горят. Но это такое. Колодец вроде пустой. Заходим.
All right. Let's see.
Cicero?
Hello, Ven.
Wait,
You know each other.
What? I don't believe it.
How have you been?
I should be asking you that question, you rascal. Why didn't you tell me you were bringing him?
We didn't know that.
Well, why don't the lot of you find some rooms that suit you? As you can tell, the entire place is basically yours.
About that, Ven. The twins were saying something about price.
Ага.
Cicero, please. What do you think I am? The kind of man who swindles his friends? No, that treatment is reserved for the dastardly. You stay here for free.
Хо-хо.
Ven, I can't.
I insist.
And I insist not. You will take something, or I'm afraid I'm going to have to walk out.
All right. But remember, you insisted. Now, please, the...
Ages, Lucia. You had me worried.
Is this a bad time? I was out in the Pale Isle when I saw you leave the spire. I hope you don't mind that I followed you. I thought it'd be prudent for me to offer an apology.
The rest of you, call it a night. Get a room, get comfortable. I'm certain Leventhus over here can get you all settled in.
Definitely. We won't disturb. Promise.
All right. About suggesting that Avestus call you back, Cicero,
You can pay me back by telling me all you know about the mask runners.
Sorry?
Come on, you're hard of hearing now. You said you were investigating them, yes?
Unbelievable. All right. Over drinks?
Sounds like a plan. So, first things first. This herald.
Новая глава.
Fractured.
Lucius says that ever since the War of Bearings began, the mask runners have been fragmenting, returning back to their factions, the way things were before my brother.
And which faction has Razatov?
They call themselves the Dactytes. They're the ones we met at the Quiet Order.
Led by the Herald.
Exactly.
And what do you plan to do?
Find this herald and get Razatov back. Simple as that.
There you are. Is she the result of the cleaver?
Result?
How did you find us?
I returned to the White Spire this morning. Inspectori Lucia was there. Apparently, she'd been here for most of last night.
Can't hide forever.
Marshal, this is Armadea. She'll be lending us her expertise in the Dementicate.
You've spoken to her of the artifacts, then?
We have.
So, what are they? What do they do?
We're not entirely sure yet. Our leads in the cleaver were destroyed.
What are your plans now?
We need to get Razatov back from the Mask Runners, a faction of them called the Dactytes to be specific, and we're going to do that by finding the Herald, their leader.
Direct. How refreshing. And how do you intend to find this herald?
By finding Lysandra Rorik.
What?
The leader of the Mask Runners.
Make a distinction, Marshal. Lysandra leads the Melakate. They're not the Mask Runners with Razatov.
Just tell me which groups I should be taking note of.
The first, the Dactytes. a new faction led by the Herald who have Razatov. The second, what remains of the Melicate, led by Lysandra, my brother's second in command.
And you want to find her because you believe she can lead us to the Herald?
Yes, and Lucia concurs.
Inspectori, those are mask runners you're talking about associating yourself with.
We're not colluding with them. We just need information.
They are fugitives of the law.
If you have another suggestion on how we should find Razatov, please, I'm all ears.
I hope you know what you're doing.
To find her, Lucia has suggested that we turn to a character called the Bloodless.
I suppose that is a smart move.
No.
Lucia didn't tell me very much about the man.
He is a man without honor.
He is a smart man of the Laboris Solis who recognizes the power of information and secrets. If there is anyone that can track a person down in the city, it is him.
Что скажет судья?
The Luca have spent years attempting to locate this man. He's crossed more than a few of my guild's boundaries.
Note that we are not here to tend to the Golden Guild's interests.
You might not be.
You think Favio will be happy with you stopping this investigation just to catch one man?
Oh, fine. I will not act against him.
I do not trust him.
Calden.
I am sorry, Cicero, but there are entities in this city that I do not wish to be involved with.
For the sake of your brother, even?
As long as I don't ever have anything to do with him.
And how do you intend to establish contact with this enigma?
You seem to know a thing or two about him.
I've worked with one of his messengers before. Vasco Tessitore. He's often found in a tavern called the Bleeding Beetle. That is our best bet.
Then what are we waiting for?
Ну что же, неплохо. Итак. Кальден не любит бескровного. Тициан де Феличи не в курсе того, что мы знаем про артефакты. Так, и мы будем водить ее за нос дальше, что умно, но токсично.
What do you want?
You seem troubled.
I stick with you for one day, and already I'm part of plans to venture into the darkest parts of the city. Mask runners, the bloodless.
It is often in the shadows do secrets hide, and we are chasing big secrets.
What do you think the city will be like once we find Razatov and the artifacts?
Кто знает.
Well, Masquerades will no longer be scarce, which means the fundamental threads that our society has been woven from will change. How that even begins to affect our world. The guilds might not even need to exist. The titles of Contadoni and Mask Runner might cease to mean anything. I really don't know.
I suppose we'll find out.
Если доживем. Сьерра-Ведда. Это просто гора. Вообще есть какие-то сплошные загадки. Древние деревья, горы, которые не падают, хотя должны.
Sure you don't want to come?
Yes.
He's going to help us find your brother, you know.
Then I'll be glad when he does.
I'll see you later then.
Очень конструктивный разговор. Примерно как я во время игры в мафию. Или во время кабинетки. Я также эффективно общаюсь. Нет, ну вот и поговорили. Надо будет вернуться к практике, кстати. Когда-нибудь.
Ben, are you still interested in that hobby of yours? Collecting stones and fine metals and all that?
I haven't changed that much.
Well, have a look at this, please, and tell me all you can of it.
What is it?
I was hoping you could tell me. I have a feeling it's got at least a few special properties.
I'll do some tests and measurements and get back to you about it when you return.
One last thing. Don't tell the Marshal about it, if you could.
My lips are sealed.
Окей. Поехали. Да, где-то новая группировка масочников. Бескровный, чрезвычайно осведомленный человек. Мы решили завести полноценный дневник в переплете.
Where did you go?
You've seen how he is. He's a good man, Elena.
Even good men have standards.
I hope you're not talking about me.
Sir,
Sir, we were just...
nothing.
You were just nothing? Well, if that's really the case...
We'd like to practice the Visifer, sir.
Brother!
Both of you?
I apologize, sir. My brother.
Let him speak.
Yes, the both of us, sir. Meliari for myself and Messaniari for my sister.
Well, if you want to practice the Visiva, you're going to need a piece of equipment from a Masquerada, aren't you?
Yes, sir, but we understand if you don't want to do this. After all, we have nothing to our name and no credentials and...
Will this do?
Sir...
That's not an answer.
What? It would do fantastically, sir. There's enough space for the inscriptions involved in Meliare.
And the blade is more than enough to paint on. Are you sure, sir?
Well, the worst that could happen is I get an ugly blade back, isn't it?
All right, just a minute, sir. We'll do some basic forms.
Now, a moment of truth. The energies do flow smoother.
It worked, brother!
I don't believe it. Thank you, sir.
Well, if there's anything more I can do...
Sigils, sir. Anything that has complicated Dementicate symbols. I'd like to try my hand at the more complex workings.
I'll keep an eye out. And you, Elena?
If you could find plants of the more exotic variety, I could use their dyes. A larger palette drastically alters the effects of Messaniare.
I'll bring back anything I can find. Now, hold on. Since you're both trained in the Visiva, you think you could handle this?
Raw masquerines.
I don't intend on getting bogged down with the documentation if I have to go through the registry's artisan to get these touched up.
Sir, this is basic work. We can get these up to scratch in no time.
Good. Until then, however, we have business to attend to.
Where, sir?
An establishment called the Bleeding Beetle. You know of it?
It's one of our favorite haunts, sir.
Excellent. Off we go then.
И боюсь, что после этого они перестанут быть вхожими в это местечко. Итак, что у нас здесь? Везде это улучшение снаряжения. У нас почти весь игровой процесс уже открыт. Ага, мы можем это улучшать наше снаряжение. Так, 120. Сначала нужно украсить. Так. 2% заряда маски. %, урон, 20% шанс успеха. Давайте сделаем так. Тебя здесь у нас еще один член команды есть, который к нам пока не присоединился. Ну что же, вперед.
Inspectore, if you don't mind me asking, you're awfully familiar with the owner of the tavern.
He was a close friend of my family's when I was younger. Before I joined the portieri, he shared his purse with us, helped us get through rough times.
That's sweet.
And naive. Most contadini can't even fend for themselves. What sense is there in sharing?
What sense is there in not keeping everything to yourself? What's the use?
Ah, the stone-cold girl finally shows a sliver of a heart.
It just doesn't make sense.
Добрались.
The street to get you to the Bleeding Beetle's down this way, sir. Too small for the coach.
We'll be waiting for you here, whenever you're done.
Обычная таверна для бедняков. Я надеюсь, что у этих двоих все будет хорошо. Как и герой, впрочем.
It's just ahead. That's him, the one with the flute.
He's good?
Among the city's best. We should get closer.
Тут есть что-нибудь еще? Не похоже. Есть. Еще одна чистая маскерина.
By the ages.
What do you see?
There, over by the side. That man with the guards. That's Izander Urshel. He's the leader of the Salt Breathers, one of the smaller Masquerada factions that existed before the war. Apparently, they're still around.
I've heard of them. Getting Contadoni addicted to stone salt, then charging exorbitantly. They've practically robbed hundreds of families of their stability.
And nothing's been done about it.
And nothing will be done. Not today, at least. Remember who we're here for.
Thank you, thank you.
He's getting away.
Marshal, don't do anything.
You, stay where where you are!
What are you doing?
What? Protect me!
Oh, great.
Hold your ground!
Да, специалист по тайным миссиям и дипломат. Это осложнит переговорный фон, несомненно. Так, нашего хиллера с нами нет. Я вас понял. Вот флейтист остался.
What in all the legacies do you think you're doing?
That man is Isander.
I know who he is, damn it. He has a contract on his head, for blood's sake.
You mean that?
Forget it. I see you're with Amadea. You're here for the Bloodless?
Yes.
Then you will listen to me. Isander is a large man, with a love for large spaces. He will not take any of the alleyways, and neither will you.
What do you mean by?
You will follow him, chase him, and he will send his guards to stop you. Be a dear and take care of them for me.
What do you do?
Slip through the shadows. If you do your job right and keep him running down the wide street, I'll be able to take care of him once he's alone. I repeat, alone. That means...
No guards, we get it.
Good. Then go before you lose him.
Ну что же, погоню за нехачами. Ага, защищайте меня или справимся с ними. Так. Так, сейчас. Давайте бьем этого. Огненное кольцо. Так. Нашу подругу уже сложили. Ты займешься Мадей. А ты бьешься. А, у нас два тела. Простите. Так. Неприятно. В общем, в аварии не стоим. Я понял. Такс. Амадея. Назад. Так, это огненные духи не наши, я понял. Так. Так, Амаде, отбеги, пожалуйста, и... Ицана тоже. Ну и ты... Нет, у тебя все хорошо.
Stop! I can't run. We have to fight! Come on!
Ну, мы, по счастью, восстановились. Мы пока вроде целые. Ицана, отбегай от этой зеленой штуки. Так, фамильярами мы не управляем. Такс. Окружаем. Так, и он убежал в переулок? Да, нет. Дали очко-то, но это потом... этот...
There, ahead.
Going somewhere?
336 урона.
Well, well, Lysander. You've been a tough rat to catch. I did nothing wrong. Oh, how entertaining the words of the ignorant can sometimes be. You consider ruining the lives of hundreds of Contadani nothing wrong.
They came to me for the salt. They wanted it. I never forced it on them.
No. You simply lied to them. Told them it was medication. And then you watched their lives fall apart in front of you as you grew fat upon their innocence.
I won't do it again. You have my word. I'll give them back the money, I swear.
A kind offer. How unlike you, Lysander.
People change.
Go then. The Laborus will keep its ear out for you. If we hear that you have not been true to your word.
Hunt me again, I'll say.
A fair deal. Off you go then.
Я не думаю, что отпустят.
Now, time for the real show.
Think you can threaten me?
Хороший музыкант.
So much cleaner for the heart when they fall upon their own blade, wouldn't you say?
You knew he was going to try that.
Of course I did. Stick around in my vein of work long enough, and you learn that people like that never change. But the lot of you clearly haven't been in this vein for very long.
Silence, bloodling.
And you are in a position to say such a thing. You who ruined the entire plan.
As if you even had a plan. You're nothing but...
Lysander Urshel is a man of habit and a man of fine hearing. After every strong performance he witnesses, he retreats to his abode in the dim way, intent on scribing out the music. This is the only time you will ever catch him without his guards, the time when his neck is most ripe for the cutting. So yes, O Golden One, I had a plan. But come, enough talk of the dead. You've helped me clear a contract. I suppose introductions are at least necessary? My name is Vasco Tessitore, bloodling of the Laboris Salis.
And I...
Inspectore Cicero Guvar of the Registry, Amadea Invidius, initiate of the Dieci Sovrani, and Lumbering Cow, mistake of the Luca Infinita.
How dare you!
Hold, Marshal. We've come with a purpose. Do not forget that. We need to speak with the Bloodless.
I'd guessed as much when I saw Amadea with you, though I am curious to ask. Such strange company you're keeping, my dear.
Well, the winds of change are blowing strong.
And the paths of the supple carried along. I see. Well...
Oh, don't stop there.
I'm sorry?
Certainly you'll not quote one half of the song without the other. The branches of death lull to its beat,
and in their wake do the sleepers weep. Oh, truly, what a choice of companion, Amadea.
You know the song?
My brother taught it to me, yes. It seems you've forgotten who I am.
I'm afraid I had.
Excuse me, what is going on?
Nothing, Marshal. Just exchanging words about an old ditty. But enough of that. I'm sure we'll have more time to talk later, yes?
Of course.
We'll head back to the Estiguary. We can all speak a little bit more then. A question, Bloodling, before we talk business.
Aye, sir?
You sing songs and tell tales of the lives of others, yes?
That I do. I also eat and drink and sometimes sleep.
Have you ever heard of a young boy who went by the name of Jabs before? His mother had been a dirge in the Laboris as well, Talia Victus.
Not names that chime in my memory, no. Why?
It sounds strange, but you remind me a little of him.
He must be quite the fetching man.
Oh, if he were alive, perhaps.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
It has been enough years for that wound to close. Forget I ever brought it up.
Может, он его и не так вспомнил. И не зря вспомнил.
Already you're taking me to the good places in Spatore.
Marshal, if you'd watch him, I don't want him breaking anything inside.
Does that include his face?
Why didn't you tell me earlier?
What did you expect me to say? Hello, I was a mask runner. I hope you don't mind.
When you use mask runner code phrases in front of me, that's basically what you're saying anyway. Why did you suggest the Bloodless? Surely you know where Lysandra is?
It's been years since I left the Malacate. He's the best lead we have.
Why did you leave?
Reasons.
All right, I won't pry.
What?
Most of the time when people ask why I left the city, I usually feel like introducing them to my fist, so... Yes, I understand if you don't want to talk about it. Besides, it's not why you're here anyway.
You're right. It's not.
What? We'll continue this another time.
Там что-то произошло.
Enough, Mariner!
What's going on?
Ah, Inspectore. Perhaps you can be of assistance in this matter.
Why did you bring him back here?
We are to speak to him in the privacy of our lodging. I see no issue with that.
Honestly, neither do I.
Do not speak to me of honesty. You work for the Bloodless. You don't even understand the word.
Kaldin, what is wrong with you?
With me? This man is a tool the Bloodless has used to spread his tides of corruption through the city. Why do you bring him into this house?
To get your brother back. Now sit. We are having civil conversation.
I'm exciting, I know.
Now is not the time for glibness.
All right, all right. The Bloodless has numerous contracts, each with varying difficulty. It is my task to judge which contract is worthy of the price you demand.
2 questions are all we wish to ask.
Ask away.
I do not believe you should be privy to these questions.
Agreed. Your tongue is far too loose to trust.
Ha! Understand this, if nothing else. I have not survived as an agent of the Bloodless by dancing through the streets, tongue-wagging. If this discussion is to progress any further, you must first pay me with trust.
The first step into the mire.
Silence, Mariner! You are seated in the quiet chair. You are not allowed to speak unless you come and sit at the speaking table. Rules of civilized conversation. So, what shall it be then, Inspectore?
We wish to ask him the following questions.
Cicero!
Chair!
The mask runners have a figure in their ranks they call the Herald. Where can we find him?
All right. And?
Where can we find Lysandra Rorik?
For those two questions, I have a contract in mind. Perhaps the Mariner would like to be here to hear it in its entirety?
I can hear you fine from here.
Fine.
Так,
It
так.
is a matron.
What?
I can hear you fine from here.
Explain yourself.
Did someone say something?
Explain.
The contract has been placed on the Matron of the Withering Mast.
Matron Beneva?
The Withering Mast is a ward of the Sorelle known for taking in single mothers with little hope left in the world.
And in doing so has only helped dozens of mothers and their families.
No. She has abused the women, plunged them into a life of prostitution. Their children are not spared that fate. There are some in this city that would pay heavy crescents for a child.
Liar.
You do well to understand how seriously the laborious take their contracts, Mariner. If the intelligence says that she is guilty, be assured that you will find no evidence otherwise.
And if we fulfill this contract, the Bloodless will meet us?
The Bloodless will give you your answers. Yes.
She is a matron of the Sorelle, Cicero. A matron of my guild. I need to see for myself if this is true. I'm going.
No. You have a vested interest in this, Mariner.
But I...
And seeing another Sorelle asking about her ward, it'll raise flags, don't you think?
Oh, you're right. I'll take along 2 of the others. Any more and it'll be suspicious.
We'll await your decision downstairs, then.
Проблема в том, что он хиллер.
Quite a temper back there.
The man brings dark tides, and I do not like it.
What do you have against him?
Some burdens are better borne on the shoulders of many. Mine are not such burdens. But I appreciate the thought.
Razatov is somewhere out there, and I need your mind on this. Fully. I can see dark clouds in your eyes. You are drifting from this investigation. I don't want that. Whatever these burdens of yours are, if you ever think sharing them might help,
The others are waiting for you.
just remember my offer.
У него еще много секретов, судя по журналу. Так, очко опыта. Есть 2 очка опыта. Так, охват. Ну, давайте охват возьмем, потому что все равно больше качать особо нечего. Так, Тициана. У тебя 8 очков навыков. Давайте больше урона. Так, что здесь? Кредо. Провокации нам не очень нужны. Давайте возьмем сопротивляемость урону. Раз уж у нас не хватает так, скорость атаки. И еще сопротивляемость урону. Раз хила нет, это полезно. Так, и Васка в нашей команде. Но я его сейчас не хочу качать, потому что он с нами, наверное, не пойдет. Или пойдет. Ладно. Так, Амадея. Ты просто глазка. Ну, какой там? Тебе лучше быть дальше. И 50 урона. Вне зависимости от уровня концентрации, что у тебя еще есть? Передвигаться, атаковать быстрее. Орёшка. Так, передышка. Давайте более быстрая концентрация. И более быстрое восстановление заряда маски. Давайте больше концентрации. Так, а у нашего друга что? Интересные вещи. Немота, урон от выстрела усиленный. Уязвимость. Уменьшение скорости атаки. Концентрация. Метка воздуха. Все.
Cicero! Ven was telling me we had a special guest.
Livia, I missed you last night.
I was out with Damien. We had some errands to run, shopping for Seiho's sojourn. It's tomorrow, after all.
Damien?
Oh, Cicero. It's been that long, hasn't it?
I'm afraid I'm missing something.
Cicero, meet Damien Marimbus, our son.
Pa, is this?
That's him, all right.
Wow. Pleasure, sir. A real pleasure.
What awful stories has your father told you about me?
Oh, awful? You're kidding, sir. Nothing short of amazing they are.
Oh, Ven.
I speak the truth. What can I say?
I'm sorry for taking your time, Cicero. You're busy, I'm sure. And we have preparations to make for the festival, but it was nice seeing you again.
And you as well, Livia. You won't be going off from here anytime soon, will you?
No, we'll be seeing you around, Cicero. Don't worry.
Excellent. Then until next time.
Сколько ему лет? Так, по виду ему лет 10 минимум. Он был по делам лет 5. Отсутствовал по делам. Да, не меньше 10. Да.
So, found anything?
I wasn't able to do very much without the proper tools. Levia's got them from the market, though, so I'll be able to conduct further tests now, but nothing so far.
Well,
of course.
Ладно.
Amadea.
Not now.
I wasn't going to talk about that. I was going to ask about how you knew the Bloodling.
Same thing.
You met him as a mask runner?
I thought you said you weren't going to talk about it.
I just need to know if we can trust him.
We can.
All right. If you say so. So, how is Fabio taking the news?
He doesn't plan to stand in your way, if that's what you mean. He's as interested in the nature of them as we are.
Do you think you'll say the same once we find out what they actually do?
You ask when you already know the answer.
Right. I was just hoping, I suppose.
Look forward, Inspectore. We have work to do.
Да, хорошие у нас друзья.
Settled in already, I see.
It's quite the lovely place you have, really. And quite the motley crew as well.
Don't I know it?
It's not every day you see drops of colors in such close proximity. Golds and blues and browns. Makes me wonder, though, what strange reasons glue this lot together?
Perhaps if you do your job, you might find out.
Yes, of course. We'd best get on with it then, no?
На выход. И в этом месте мы сделаем паузу. Всем спасибо за просмотр, всем доброй ночи и пока-пока.